Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Beats by Travis podcast. I am your host, Travis Smith, and today we have another interview with a good friend of mine. We have Spida, aka Spida Verse, on the show. He came on to talk about his history in the Northwest Arkansas music scene and all of the stuff that he's been working on, as well as his work in the local hip-hop community, as well as the region. And the dude stays up all day and doesn't stop working. We dive into that, but before we do, the podcast is brought to you by Bandzoogle. If you need a website and you're a band or you're an artist and you don't know how to create websites, you can go to bandzoogle.com, choose from the templates there and find a website or a template that you like, put your information in, and then type in your payment information after you find the template you do like. And then type in the promo code BeatsByTravis15 to save yourself 15% on your first year. There you go. All right, I'm here on the Beats by Travis podcast. I got my buddy Spida here. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing, Travis?
I'm doing well, dude. Thank you for coming on, talking to me. I know we're probably super busy dudes, and so it's nice to sit down and chop it up. I know for me, I've been wanting to just chat with you about, just sit down and kind of talk about all the stuff that you've been working on, what you got cooking on, and then also like kind of what you've been doing for a long time in the Northwest Arkansas music scene. I was looking through some old flyers the other day of some old shows that I threw like around Arkansas, around Northwest Arkansas, and I was seeing Riley's like old shows from like might have been like 2015 or 16, and then I see Spida Crazy 8 on there. So like it's cool seeing a lot of the things that you're doing now, and then knowing that you've been around here doing multiple things for a long time and putting that work back into the own music scene. So kudos to you for doing that. And I know for a lot of people, you've been a gate opener for a lot of people. So man, thank you for coming on.
Man, it's an honor, man. It's a big deal, bro. Even back when the Riley situation, people like Travis, like to us, you were like the myth. Like we weren't gonna meet you. Like we would like, how do we talk to that guy? And like to be sitting down here now, it's like it's amazing, bro.
I don't know if that's like it was just because I was like probably just not out and always like doing email and stuff like that. But also for me, the best part about kind of where I'm at in my life right now and having and the work that I'm doing is for the longest time I was just out playing shows and stuff, which I still do, just kind of in a different capacity to where I can engage with folks a little bit more that I've worked with in the past, like personally engage with them, not just like send an email and be like, your show's on this date.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, honestly, even so rap and music was so foreign back then when we didn't know what to do and what it was that we needed to do. So it was like we didn't even know how to contact you properly to get an email back, honestly, at that point, because, we're so used to thinking that, hey, man, we should just be able to go talk to that guy, and not understand anything to do professional. And so I think it was more so not that we didn't never even buy a ticket to come just see the show. Like why didn't we just do that? Because we were just thinking that, oh, man, it's just impossible, because how do we get into Georgia's? How do we get into these venues? And it's a lot of simple things that we could have done that we didn't do.
Are these things that you've learned kind of as you've gotten older, just being around and operating for a while?
Yes, and me and you have plenty of conversations, like behind the scenes, things that you said to me that opened my eyes to, like, not being so much of like, hey, they won't let us do it. They, because that was the biggest deal about it. They it wasn't allowed, that we couldn't get into the venues, and we just wasn't doing it properly. And understanding that has helped us out a lot. And so I think it was just, I don't know, like there's a lot of being ignorant about things if I really wanted to.
It was learning. It's just part of it. Because right now, you just now sparked two things that I want to speak on that I feel that this is something I think about. Because I think about those conversations we've had all the time. Because like, for me, I was a I'm like a venue / marketing person that tends to rather represent a venue, or I'm working with a group of artists. Like, say I'm doing rail yard capture. So like if you're there that night, like that night I was working, I'm kind of capturing content for 4 or 5 people there and stuff like that. So, you know, it's kind of put me in the capacity to be around working with a lot of artists and a lot of different genres. And I think kind of just where the conversations we've had when we first started chatting about this, probably, was it pre-pandemic or during the pandemic?
I think so. Yeah, we did start talking around
Sometime around them. And so I think where, you know, rap and hip hop, we've always said is the number one genre of music right now. That's kind of one thing we've been looking at. And then I think a lot of people looking at where that is in your local and regional music industries, such as music venues, adding rap to the list of genres that they have there. You still don't see it quite as much.
No.
And I think that, and here's my theory. Here's what I think. I think it might just have to come from a little bit of a, since rap and hip hop has become so huge, it's not completely connected with the local and regional music industries and stuff like that. Like, you don't have, a lot of towns don't have someone like yourself that's networking and networking events and just getting folks in a room and seeing what happens. You don't see that as much. So I think as that develops more, you'll see it. But this is a genre of music this is like rock and roll, you know, in the 70s and 80s and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
And so I think I think it's one of those, like, the time is coming. It's now, but it's just got to, like, make its way down to, like, the local and regional industries. I think it's still working its way there. I feel like
it. So hip hop is in a strange state everywhere. Honestly, I always ask, you know, me and Darren, we do a lot of talking, and we kind of try to look at things that are going on in other places as well. Little Rock, you know, right down the street. You know, like it's hip hop is still suffering, and I think that still has something to do with why it's not something that's getting booked at all the venues as well. It's negative things that I understand it sometimes why they wouldn't want to do it, and it shows that, I mean, a lot of hip hop artists ask for a lot and don't kind of deliver, and that can, if I'm a venue owner, I'd be pretty scared to, you know, especially if you're doing your homework. They're probably, you know, places like George's and JJ's Live are calling around to other venues in other states and seeing what the numbers were like. And so I feel like that does play a part in it, you know. But like, to your point, to get out there and network and do what I do and do what Darren does and all the people that's in our team, it is something that a lot of rappers don't feel like is needed now. You have social media, and you can do ads and things. And a lot of people depend on those results instead of going and talk to people. Like, I know it's kind of difficult to kind of treat local artists, or what people call local artists. I just say artists now.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Especially, it's like,
I want to make them feel like the big guys, and so that's why that's what I do. I do that really, really good. You know, it doesn't matter where you at. If you can get 10 people out, I feel like you can be as big as Drake. You know, eventually, you start with 10, you get 20. You start with 20, you get 30.
To speak on your point of that, right now, I think we see that it's not outside the realm of possibilities to have an artist that has 10 to 20 million views on a video, and then maybe 5 to 10 million views on another video.
Yes.
But they still haven't been out playing shows or doing stuff that, and I'm seeing it with multiple people where they just haven't done things. Like, we're in the age group where when we started doing shows, the way we made fans was literally just going to do shows and handing out flyers and stuff like that. And now that you could do digital marketing,
right,
it's wide open to where it's almost as if you make your fans, then you can go to them.
Right.
And I think that even shakes up that music industry science, or the venue science, even a little bit more, because where now they're asking, how many people can you draw?
Right.
And you don't know if it's 100 or if it's 500. You might sell it out. Who knows?
You don't know. And it's crazy because, like you said, somebody, you know, a big time artist that's doing numbers on Spotify could possibly not sell as good as a local artist. and that's very possible. And then you got the whole aspect of fake numbers and things like that you have to pay attention to. Like they're fabricating their numbers, and so yeah, you might just book them based off the way they look on social media, but none of it's real. So you're not really getting the numbers that you want.
Yeah, is that something you see very often?
Yes. I don't depend on any artist to sell anything for me. I if I like the artist or if I feel like it fits good and it can sell tickets, I give it a shot. I'm not going to depend on it. I'm still going to go out there and do the legwork, do things to make people want to see things. I always add certain things to my shows. Like, my wife likes to twerk, and so we always add like a twerk. We try to do things around like certain type of, like it's Halloween now. We're going to do a Halloween costume contest. And those type of incentives.
I'm a big fan of multiple things at an event. Like,
yes.
What's the whole experience like?
Mm-hmm. And that's the biggest thing. I feel like the artists that I book, for the most part, right now, the start of they're the icing on the cake. I want people to come to the shows for the experience. That's exactly right.
So to you, the event that you're putting on, it's every single piece is important.
Yes. Everything.
Almost everybody's a headliner.
Everybody is a big deal. And like I said, like DK's C9. Those are guys that I've been building up around Northwest Arkansas. They can have more people that show up than Smoke Perk because they're here. They're out networking. Hey, come see me and Smoke Perk.
They're hitting that target market.
Yes.
Every time they make a post, most of their followers are in that city.
Yes, and that's how I feel like it's working. Like it's like, okay, I book a big artist. I make sure the artists that I manage get just as much publicity as that artist. Put them on at certain times. Have them sell tickets. Teach them how to sell tickets. Hey, it's probably pretty hard to sell tickets to see just C9, but C9, Peso, and Smoke Perk, bro. If you're telling me you can't do that, then we're doing the wrong thing right now. Mm-hmm. And so with that, they're finding it easier to be artists. They're having more motivation to be artists, and they're being around some of the people that they grew up listening to as well. And it's working really well right now. So I'm in this big management thing that I'm doing with artists that it's working out real good, because I didn't really want to be a manager. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Like, I got asked to be a manager. I didn't know what being a manager was, and but I ended up being really good at it. I got I featured with an artist on QC, and I've kind of developed this thing to help them grow, and I'm using some of the tactics that I would use to kind of like push myself as an artist, and it's working really good.
Like mentally and stuff like that, just make sure they're in the good headspace to be creative and keep driving and stuff.
Well, it's so many things that I didn't have. I didn't have a manager, truly. Darren was really good as far as mentoring me and telling me things that were going on in the music industry, because I know a big thing.
And tell people who Darren is real quick.
Darren is he's the director of KISS 105.3. He's my brother. He's the guy who pretty much pushed me to be the superstar that I feel like I am today. Darren was throwing shows before, like, I actually became part of throwing the shows, and I joined it as just a promoter because I was on a mission shortly after, like, doing the things with Riley's and things like that. I was with a rap group called Flow Game, and then I joined. I started my own thing called Verse, and that's where Spida Verse come from. But I met Darren at a show while I was in the rap group Flow Game. And I think he was throwing those shows as Conway Boys. And it was way before he had actually moved here. And by the time he moved here, I had started my own thing. And then, me started working. And we had got a Thursday on Dixon Street. And, and we packed it out. And, like, that's when I became a host. I learned how to be a real MC and not just an artist. And I used that to actually push me as a rapper, because I could get people to say things that I normally wouldn't be able to do as a rapper, because I was a guy who was putting, letting certain people in the club, and it's like I was more of a cool guy as a host. And then it also translates towards my music. So Darren was the guy who kind of like put me in that position to help me be pretty much more like Spida Verse than Spida Crazy 8.
I knew Darren was important to you, and Darren's important to this whole community. So I just wanted to have you explain that for just a second.
Darren is the big dog. He does a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and his name is on all the flyers too. I always tell people that, when they're mad at the gate opener, you're just like, oh, why you ain't mad at Darren? But we never say anything about that. But it's cool though. Me and him joke about it all the time.
All right, so didn't want to become a manager. Now you're in a different position that you didn't have yourself, being a manager. So who are you managing?
I manage DK. I manage a group of artists. Honestly, like DK, C9, Scooby, A1 Shawty, Social Don Julio. It's I have a management team, so to speak. I can go on for days as far as like who all I manage. I also manage this rap group called Really Bad People. So it's different people in different areas, and I did that because I joined this radio station called Rockstar Radio, and I did that because I feel like in rap music right now, I don't want to just be, have all my eggs in one basket. It does, like you said, I don't know what it's going to take off. And so if I can push this guy to be the best that he can be in this area while pushing this guy to be the best that he can in this area, and maybe this takes off a little better than this, but they're all working together so they all win off of it. So basically that's what I do as far as like with my management. I manage a bunch of different artists in different rap lanes, different types of rap, and you utilize it all to work together.
What is your like a weekday like for you? Like what time is your day start? Like what are you doing all day?
All right, so I work at KISS 105.3 as a board director from 5 o'clock in the morning to 9, and I input the commercials, and I also do the morning hustle for KISS 105.3. So I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm asleep at probably 12. It's nonstop phone calls. It's nonstop Facebook, Instagram, and basically I'm a big content creator. I'm constantly content creating. I got different pages that do different things. I'm like I said, I manage Rockstar Radio, and it's a content platform as well. So it does like interviews, things like that. I also do things with Darren at KISS 105, and I also promote like other local businesses, like Queens is a Mexican restaurant, and I also do things like that.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's not a dull moment. My wife hates it.
Speaking of her, she's like always supportive online and says some funny stuff that
get everybody going.
I don't know how else to say it other than like I'll be saying something. I'll tell my girlfriend, I'm like, look what she just said. I mean, it's always like something where you could tell that it's like, but it's always like supportive, truthful, and it's always like to me, it's almost like a little bit of therapy, because I know that a lot of folks are reaching out to you a lot of the times, and as you do a lot of people might not realize what you do and don't do sometimes, so people might put other expectations on you or something, and so whenever I see little hints of something where it's like people think things and nothing's not even of something, it's always like extra funny.
Right. It's so crazy the way people think sometimes. But I was talking to Don Rio, and I'm name dropping a lot, man. I see that, man.
No, name drop away, dude. This whole platform is literally all. The only reason I do this podcast, I feel like, is to celebrate the folks that I have noticed that work as hard in the music industry around here, or at least care about it in a way that I do. And if I can do anything to help lend a voice, or even just have a platform where somebody like yourself can come name drop some folks.
Yes.
Like that's what this is for. If you're name dropping something, it's probably because they're doing something. So
yeah,
don't feel free, name drop away.
Don Rio is a guy that I've also helped build his platform up. He loves to do interviews, and man, I watched him do so much, invest so much money into like just the cameras and things like that. It's got me pretty prepared for this interview here or this podcast type situation. But on Don Rio interview, I said that it's okay. You know, I figured out that everybody's not going to like me. And honestly, I think the crazy thing about it is I pay attention to the things that people saying that I'm doing wrong, even if they don't know what they're talking about. So, because I can miss things too. Maybe I did do something wrong.
Perception is important.
Right. And so people I always see it, and you never see me retaliate social media wise, because I know I know where my heart is at, and I know they don't really know what I'm really doing. They don't really, a lot of them don't really want to do what I do. Of course they want to be it. They want the attention. So maybe they think they do, you know what I'm saying? But like, they don't want to actually stay up all night and things like that. And
isn't it interesting that when somebody doesn't like something you're doing, the first thing they want to do is go do exactly what you're doing?
Oh my goodness!
And not even think about the fact it might require a skill set or like a college degree or something like that.
Well, when you say that, it's so crazy because they forget about exactly what they wanted, and they try to become something that they don't want to be, and.
Most of the time, you were just checking them, asking if what you're telling me is true about themselves.
Right.
And then they don't like that you didn't even check them. You just asked them, like,
yes.
Can you draw people to a club or something like that? And I've had people spiral out of control for months over that alone.
Yes.
It's like, it's a legit question.
Yeah, it's business, and these are basic things that anybody will ask you. But I know since I'm not, what do you want to call them, Walmart or things like that. Like it's going to be taken different. I'm some.
You're an individual with you're more like.
I'm too personable.
Yeah, and you're an artist too.
Yeah, people, you can talk to me. I'm not like how we used to think about Travis. You don't just have to email me.
That's funny.
But it's a real thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. You got to be like that.
And I've understood that's why it is what it is.
I was thinking about that earlier today. I was thinking about this interview, and I was like, man, I was thinking about how it takes someone like yourself that is a performer, that's not afraid to put yourself out there, that's not afraid to create content with himself. I'm not naturally that person. Like, I'm a drummer, dude. I'm not like I don't care about singing. I don't want to be on the front of the stage. But I want to support other things. That's why I literally have a content creation company.
Right.
My thing is to find out what you do and then just try and let everybody know about it or film it in a certain way that makes you happy. Like but it takes that phrase, it takes a village, but it takes a little bit of you got to be loud a little bit to shake some stuff up.
You got to be loud. You got to be unafraid to be wrong. You got to go in there and believe in what you really believe in. Man, I start with something that I feel like is great, and I put it out there in the universe. And if it works, it works. It don't. Put it down and start something else. Especially with the content creating thing. It's funny that you say that because when I talk to the artists that I manage, I tell them I'm not managing the artist. I'm managing a content creator. Mm-hmm. And that's what I need you to be. It doesn't matter how good your music is to me personally, because I'm your manager, and it's my job to just push your music to the people who like it. And
you already sold.
Yeah.
Now you got to sell it to other people.
Exactly. I don't have time to waste to just manage anybody just because you can't pay me enough money to do that. It's just not enough. And so I have to like you, and I have to like what I can do with you. And in certain situations, like, it doesn't require you to be an artist, it requires you to be a content creator. And so that's been a big thing that I've been pushing. And so I just like being in front of the cameras. I like coming up with different things. I like coming up with different trends and seeing how people will catch on to it, like the exit. Like, I thought that was crazy. It was just random one day. I was just like, man, this can go somewhere.
Tell me about that.
So I do this thing where, like, I know it's certain words that you see that you're going to see a lot often than you think that you see it. So like Thank You was the name of my album. And I know people say that a lot more than you say it. So I knew naming my album that would make you think about me a lot more than you think. So Exit was kind of like one of those things that you see all the time. You just don't notice it. You go out the exit without caring if it's the exit or not. We walk through the exit and enter stuff through the exit. So it was like, okay, this word is going to pop in people's head a lot. So Exit. just start content creating with the word exit, finding exit signs, doing videos around exit. And now every time if somebody sees the word exit, they automatically think of Spida. And as long as you keep coming up with things like that, you're going to always be relevant and trending in especially this community. It's a lot of things that this community is behind on when it comes to hip hop. And like, I like to be the guy who kind of like shine the light on the stuff that, hey, y'all know this is going on, but this is crazy right now, you know? Oh, you know, like I did the Tupac and the Future thing. I seen you comment on that. But honestly, it was something that's going on in hip hop already. Mm-hmm. I just took it and told this community that, and it was, they went into frenzy. They were so mad at me.
No, you shake it up. I like it whenever you, but they're always very interesting though. You make people think, dude. It's like, well, are you a fan of this because you're supposed to be a fan, or do you actually listen to it and you have your own opinion of it?
And that's what it is. Like a lot of hip hop is just judged in the wrong way. Like here, like the old school hip hop here. It's kind of like, come on, man. Yeah. This is other great artists. Like, yeah, I know that Eminem, Snoop Dogg, you know, Wayne, all those guys are really great, but you can't say that the guys who came after them are just not good. And I love that argument. And it's a funny thing because I supposed to like Eminem. I really like Eminem, but I'm supposed to like Dr. Dre. So when people are like, oh, you're young, you just like drug music, or you wear skinny jeans. No, I don't. I'm the same age as you. I'm probably older than you. I just like the music, you know. And I tell people things like, we didn't have an option, and that's why you're saying what you're saying. If everybody came out at the same time, I don't know what we would have thought about Tupac. And that's just a good argument. And you can't prove it. You know what I'm saying? It hurts. It hurts, but I mean, a lot of people like Future, and Future is really good. He's obviously made good music, you know?
Music is like, to me, I think it's, whenever I see like a battle of the bands, it's like, I hate battle of the bands. I don't think.
Really?
Like, I don't like judging of art.
Really? I like that.
I don't like a competition of art.
I don't care for it, but I can't ignore it. I know it's there.
I like a showcase.
Okay, yeah, a display of it.
Yeah, right. but like if it's a showcase, like usually if they have like a battle of the bands, it's always like a matter of who's judging or something like that. Right. And so, to me, when people say that they don't like a certain genre of music or they don't like a certain artist, to me that's like saying, like me, I don't like onions. Right. So like it's just a sense. Right. You can hear, you can taste, you can feel. Like, to me, it doesn't make you don't like it when you hear it. Certain things people like, well, country and then all over the place on stuff. I'm one of those people. Right. Like, I don't look at a genre first and then listen to it. I think if you think of a genre first and then listen to music and then try to filter it through the genres you like, and do you like it because it's in this genre or out of that genre, I think that's weird. Yeah,
that is weird. It has to sonically just sound good. I think it's weird to listen to lyrics. I just like, you're listening. I just read a book, bro. You know, I don't understand. Man, did you hear that bar? No, I was just trying to listen to the song and make sure it sounds good. But I mean, I guess some people,
I can relate to that because I don't write any lyrics. I'm a drummer, so I'm more of like, if the beat's awesome, I'll know in like first 3 or 4 seconds where I'm like, all right, something's about to happen here.
Right. And so if we're judging it based off that, because a lot of people judge music based off lyrics and not the sound. And just because it sounds good, he's not saying nothing. He don't have to say anything. His voice can honestly just be a drum on this beat. And this sounds good. So I don't think people have understood that rap music doesn't have to have lyrics for it to be a good song, a number one song to be exact. And it's a hard thing that people are dealing with when it comes to hip hop.
What do you think? It's because of the history of what hip hop has been?
Yes, it's because of things that hip hop has represented. You know, the protesting and things like, you know, what Tupac did to Dear Mama, some of the bigger messages that have been in music that has been like impactful to the world. but people don't want to admit it. It's just like Martin Luther King doing it. He just didn't rap. It Yeah, those are big messages and they're cool and they are a big deal. I don't want to discredit what they are, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's how everything should be.
Yeah, it doesn't set the standard for a whole genre of music.
You can't call something trash just because it's not that.
It's like picking out your favorite parts of rock music and saying if it's not this ain't it, then it's not real rock or something.
Hip hop has the biggest issue with dealing with that, and we suffer for it. Like people won't come out to concerts or come support people based off them not doing certain things. And I feel like that affects everything. I get into a lot of especially with showcasing. I get a lot of flack because I would technically work with people that. So you have in the local scene, I'm gonna go to the local word because it's a big. You have the guys who feel like they're bigger than what they are, and then you have the guys who are very humble, and then you have the guys who are just trying something out at the point in time that maybe not be that good. And it's hard to make.
Just new. Got to start somewhere type people sometimes too.
Right. So in showcases, like we accept all of those guys. I don't care, but you get the guys who feel like they're bigger than everybody. Then, why am I rapping with this trash rapper? It's like, okay, why are you judging art? Mm-hmm. Like this guy. And then you get to this situation as Spida that hurts everybody's feelings. This guy's trash. Yeah. Okay. Let's exercise that and say that you're better than him. But he got like 10 more people coming to see him than you. So is he really bad? What are we scaling this off of?
It's a matter of opinion. You got more people that have the opinion of liking him than what's talking to you right then. Exactly.
And so but it's constantly happening. It's a thing. It's got some artists not wanting to. It's have some artists honestly not being able to progress based off that strong opinion, and like I say, it is affecting us a lot because.
How much do you think playing in one town and not going out and playing other cities and gaining more perspectives, does that have anything to do with it, or what do you think it is?
That has something to do with it as well, but I feel like they don't do that because they're not confident. You don't feel like you can do it, and I feel like Northwest Arkansas in general has like a negative effect on hip hop artists. And I say it because it shouldn't, but it does. Like you see bands, you see bands getting booked, you see them get paid to do gigs, and rappers feel like that's how they should be. This is a band. They have instruments, they do things that you don't necessarily have to do. And they bring out people. Rappers feel like in Northwest Arkansas, because of the bars or maybe their connection with a band member or someone who plays a guitar, that they should automatically get paid exactly like and that's just not how rap is. That's not how the rap industry is. And they don't know that because they don't go outside of here. So if I'm implementing new things that I'm learning from outside of here. So it's kind of like it's disrupting things like in a weird way.
Okay.
Because they don't understand why I'm doing it this way. Because they don't go to Texas, they don't go to Memphis, they don't go to these other places to see how it's really getting. I live.
You're going to larger industries and then bringing the industry here,
and I'm teaching them how to do it. And the ones who want to do it with me, we're rising, and the ones who are not are talking, and saying things just like we were talking about earlier today. They don't understand. And it's okay for them not to understand. It's my job to just keep doing what I'm doing and keep building it and until they maybe or maybe not understand. But it's not my job to be mad at them. It's not my job to discipline them in certain type of ways, to be a gatekeeper, exile them. I don't have enough going on with this right now to turn anybody down. Like I want to work with everybody. I don't care if you talk bad about me. You can call me tomorrow and we can fix things, because it's all about making it work, So knowing that it's a lot of ignorant things when it comes to like hip hop that they don't know. Like I said, the Future and Tupac thing was something that was going on in the music industry, and like I got over 200 comments because they didn't see it. and just, no, understanding that is where I'm at with everything currently right now. I have to be the provider. We have to be the music outlets. We have to show everybody, anybody who don't understand it, this is how it is if you go anywhere else. Because, you say that and it's like, man, they're in for a rude awakening if they go to Atlanta. If you think that what I charge or what I do is a lot, go to Atlanta.
I think I told somebody the other day, and I'm not trying to quote myself. I guess I am. About
do
to
it,
right.
do it, man.
I'm about to do it right in your face. But I was talking to a buddy of mine, and we were talking, and it's someone that I'm working with, and we're talking about going out and playing shows. And I was telling him, I was like, well, dude, I went out there on the road, and I'm like, like people trying not to pay you, and then crazy managers trying to kill you and stuff like that, because like, just normal band stuff.
Okay.
but like, there's so many things that you learn when you're out on the road, but you don't have to go out on the road to learn those things. Like
right.
You can have someone like ourselves. It's like, hey, just send a contract and make sure maybe they pay you 50% before it happens. Just like the little things, if it's a big show or something, or
right.
Make sure that they have a sound system there. Like all the little things that somebody would know if they were like getting out of high school. They happen to be talented, but they've never went to a show out of town. I think it's like being able to bridge those gaps instead of sending them somewhere, and then just things like everything from like getting a hotel room beforehand or running out of gas somewhere or something. Right. It's like, you got to be ready to, that's a whole part of the business. You got to be ready to rock.
Man, people, and they're not.
Selling merch. You got to be merch table. You got to get email addresses. You got to be outside handing out flyers.
Copyright.
We don't do that stuff a lot here.
No, they're it's, the word is pampered. They've gotten a lot handed to them. Like they don't feel like they have to do it, because why aren't you doing it? It's the question that you ask. You want to be famous. You want people to like your music. Why do I have to tell you to do that? I used to rap at gas stations. I passed out blank CDs with my music on it. I came to talk to Travis. I threw shows that was empty, and I threw parties that didn't go well. I'm still right now putting flyers up and showing people that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I don't understand. There's certain things that don't go on here with the amount of resources that we do have, the amount of acceptance. Like they would allow it. Like you allow me to come here. Like it. Like I always Darren talked to me about this guy's name is Joe Black, and he said something to him, man, bro, it's crazy that you guys allow people to just come to the radio station, like in New Orleans and different places. Like you can't just do that. And so
we have a very all the service providers in the music area around here are very open. I mean, I think it's crazy that I have this marketing company down here and I can literally create all this content for an artist just like that. They're not just like lined up outside the door, considering how much we charge compared to everybody else.
It's the craziest. It's the reason why things aren't progressing. It's hindering us. It's not good. Like at this point too. Let me tell you something that's even crazier about it. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can be 37, 56. It doesn't matter if you're a content creator. Like stop trying to address yourself as like just a music artist. Just be a content creator. You could go viral on TikTok and get booked at a Jelly Roll show, bro, and open up for Jelly Roll as the person who's doing this TikTok dance. So if you're doing like guitar, like Falco does the moonwalk, all he has to do is go viral one time off a Jelly Roll song, and he's famous.
Imagine if you had like a body of work behind that.
And they do. Most of the rappers and the artists here, they have the body of work because that's all they're doing.
That's true.
All they're doing is sitting in the studio, making music, dropping it, hoping that it goes viral or somebody picks up on it, or they're performing it at not my show, but the show down the street, or they're going to Bentonville today, or they're going to do the show that the guy that's anti-Spida. And so, and they're doing it. They don't have loyalty to no type of cause when it comes to music in the hip hop scene around here. If it's somebody that they feel like that is going to give them a crowd of people, they're going to do it. And it's instead of going somewhere else too. It's crazy.
It is a long game.
Yes.
And so, I mean, look at us. I mean, how long we've been like following our dreams over here? It's like 20 years in, and now we're starting to get traction and be where we can help other people and stuff.
But I do feel like that is very true. I do feel like it's because we started it. We pioneered it. We made it happen. For everybody else that's coming up, they have us.
Yeah, we're lifelines, if you will.
Yeah, and man,
It's nice, though, that you brought your own piece with it, though. It sounds like you know your heart is pure and you know what you're meaning to do is like from the source.
Right.
Like you mean well. So that brings the peace when other people have an opinion on you. It's like,
whatever.
That's your opinion, man.
Yeah, it's just like music.
It's not a fact.
Everybody cannot like me, and it's a real thing. It's something that I do that you have to be against. Somebody has to be against it, and some people have to be with it. It's just how it has to go. If everybody was with it, that would be crazy. It just would be a crazy thing, So, but I also look at it as in a positive way because I know what I'm doing is something that's brand new, that's different. Because if it was something that was by the book and everybody would probably, if they go to YouTube or they go to Google how to become a rapper and everything that Spida was saying was right there for them, I wouldn't be as unique as I am. So I like that. I like that it's different.
That's awesome. That's a good approach to have.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about this show that you are doing. I think by the time this whole thing will come out, people have seen some clips and stuff like that. But talk about this show. Mm-hmm. We talked about it a little bit, but that you're doing at the fairgrounds. And this is, talk about promoting in these larger shows that you've been doing and what that experience has been like.
Man, so we started with the small local shows where it was primarily just the local artists. So what we thought was like, okay, let's add like this year. Me and Darren does this. We're insane. We call each other crazy all the time. We want to win and we want this so bad. And every day, like Darren is interviewing bigger names and doing bigger things. So it's like, okay, how do we take the shows to another level and also be able to elevate everybody else around us as well? Not just, oh, Spida Crazy 8 is going crazy. Everybody wins off of it. So the bigger shows will add bigger names. And like I said, we still elevate everybody along with us, Don Rio, all the content creators that we're working with. And we bring like a household name like Smoke Perp and Peso. Those guys have done songs with Travis Scott, Post Malone.
Huge.
Yeah, these are big time guys. And we're bringing, and you be able to do a lot of different things with them. So it's elevated the shows, obviously, because they're bigger. And we're not so much as considered doing local showcase anymore. They're concerts. Mm-hmm. And so that's where we wanted to go, and that's where we're at right now. And it's a pretty big deal, man. Like
it really is.
It's fun. It's just like me starting doing my first show all over again. I have to figure out a whole different way, a whole different formula on promoting these shows and running these shows because it's way more money being invested at the time, and more work being invested. So it's real fun.
Has like I know you have a lot of fans of kind of a lot of the things that you do in the community and stuff. What's the response been? Has people been pretty pumped about these larger shows coming to town?
Yes. You always hear in Northwest Arkansas, because I do a lot of other stuff in like the whole state. I'm connected with people in rock and things like that. You hear about, JJ's Live. You hear about the one at the rail yard and also, the college shows and everything that goes when Road Week happened. But to be mentioned in that now, like, is really dope. It just people that don't know me but just know about the shows.
You paved a lane for yourself.
Yes, and and we just getting started. Like you say, we're just getting some traction after doing it 10 years, and we're feeling like we're just getting started. This was our big break. We just went viral, or statewide.
Totally.
And the best responses that we're getting are from people from other cities and states. Like we had a guy come from Chicago. We had people come from Texarkana, and we're bringing a lot of people to Fayetteville that don't know about it. That I lived in Vegas, and they have the weirdest perception of what Arkansas is. They just think it's all country, none of this is going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so me friending a lot of people in different areas, like I'll be going to Dallas and things like that, and Houston, and then they're following me now, but then they see all the stuff that I have going on.
Dude, that's the best part.
Yes.
That's the most fun. You know, when I started doing some stuff in Tulsa and Oklahoma City, and I was with FanSub, this app that I was working with, and so I was just setting up live streams in venues and then managing them and stuff like that. And a lot of our networking events were like free photo shoots where an artist comes in, they get a photo shoot, and then we sign them up on the app.
Right.
And so there might be 50 or 60 folks that come in a day and I got to talk to 20 or 30 of them.
Right.
You do a couple of those in Tulsa and Oklahoma City. And I was talking to all the artists and stuff and people at the venues. And in Tulsa, they're like this, that community is. And so being able to like meet everybody and then you're friends with them and you're chatting on Instagram and then you go back home and do something, then they're following other people and then somebody sees somebody, then you start seeing people on other shows that is just from other people seeing it. 'Cause, folks like I don't really care where you got the name from. It's like we can always go find some cool stuff to go do and share somebody on Instagram and stuff. So it's cool when you start seeing connections being made and then you're able to it's almost like you're operating like a map where you have little red lines to all these little cities where you're able to go back and have these communities that you can
network,
send artists or go there yourself. And even if you just want to go there and hang out for a weekend, you got all these friends all over the country.
Yes. I called it the Spida Web. That's why I called it.
Oh, yeah. I saw you calling it that. It was expanding the web.
Yes.
I saw you that one time. So
that's what it is, man. That's the best response, though, to answer that question. I feel like to know that even when somebody don't quite appreciate it or look at it the way that I look at it, and I can convince or like I show someone, another artist from another area, how valuable it is, and they give and they talk to it because they express it. Bro, I do not. It's one of the things that I have heard a lot from like rappers from bigger cities and things like that. Bro, Spida, I don't understand why these artists around here aren't doing the things that you're talking about, passing out flyers, coming with merchandise, QR codes on your. Like I got this guy named Young Wag, and he has a QR code on a lighter.
Mm-hmm. I saw that.
Yeah,
hands him out to everybody.
You
saw him hanging one out there. I got a video of him handing out to Paul Wall.
Bro, you don't turn down a lighter. Like it's genius, And it's like we have doors like that open that some of the artists around here just don't do. And so basically that's the best response though. Like just to hear that everything that I'm doing is valuable and someone appreciates it. That's the best one.
Do you are you still recording and writing music yourself?
I do. I don't have as much time as I want to, and if I was to be completely honest, it's just me understanding that I can do it, and that makes me do it. Do I like doing what I'm doing more right now? I can say yes.
I feel the same way, man. Mm-hmm. Like I got my keyboard like literally right here. I got guitar right over. Like it's nice to pick it up.
And do your thing.
Just write a little beat.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I save it. Maybe I don't.
Right. And it's when I can play a song, because I haven't done it in like 2.5 years now. I want to say just like flat out saying, "Hey, I'm the rapper. I'm the artist. When there's a show going on, I'm rapping every time. Like I don't do that a lot. And so I did it like a week or so ago. It was fun. But to play music to most of the people that I'm dealing with in today's world that I'm in right now that don't know or didn't know that I did music once upon a time, is always really good to play them music.
I feel the same. It's good to lead by example a little bit from time to time.
You have to show them.
Sometimes you gotta get up and rock a show and be like, you want to rock a show like that? Yes. Here's how you do it.
This is how you do it. It's a technique. It's not just pure talent. You can work your butt off and get it too. It's a strategy. You have to think about what you're finna do. And it doesn't require this group of people to like you. Yeah, they probably hate me. Spida shouldn't be doing music right now, but you see what I just did? If I can do that, then you can do it.
You mentioned my favorite word that I think is like I usually don't even act on something unless I do this, but you said strategy.
Yes.
How important do you think strategy is before you do something, like putting together a game plan?
Oh, it's the biggest part of the puzzle. Strategy and knowing what you're doing is a big thing. Now, don't get me wrong. It's a lot of stuff that you got to improvise on. You got to just, hey, you're in the moment now. Let's go. Those moments are big too, and some of the biggest moments in my career, I had to figure certain things out, and I'm really good at it too. Like I pressure myself. I work good in the pressure.
I heard somebody say about another guy that's around here one time, and this individual he's put a lot of people on with jobs and stuff like that. And he said, yeah, this person always puts me in a position to do something where I didn't think I was capable of doing it. And it ended up being the biggest thing I've ever done in my life. And I've never had more fun while I was doing it.
Right. I constantly put myself in that. Like I didn't know how to be a host at some point in time, but it ended up being crazy. I was mad nervous when that happened.
Now you're running around in front of like 1,000 people, and confetti's going off and stuff.
Going crazy.
How awesome is that?
Yeah.
It's got to be so much fun though.
It is. And the thing that I used to do is just do it, like improvise, like you said. But now that I've learned it, I've done so much, and it's been a lot of times, it's a lot of money that I invested into me being a rapper, and I didn't capitalize off the opportunities because I was just so, we're finna just get out there and be a rapper. That's what I call it, just being a rapper. That's what it is. And when I started strategizing, Darren says this thing to me, and he said, and I say it to people now, but hey, we got to make it make sense. Like just doing it, I mean, that ain't doing nothing for anybody right now. Just getting up and just whatever, that don't make any sense. And so since I started doing it, the improvising with the strategy, I have progressed a lot more because I can go into a situation having an idea of what I need to do. But even if I don't do it, I still have it, and I have it in my back pocket.
At least you can point at what didn't work. That's always important too. Be like, well, I know what I'm not doing again.
Exactly.
And so it's like, so if you could tell any artist one thing to do if whether they're doing it, they might be doing it already. What's one thing you would tell like a new artist that's got some new music coming out, but like they aren't playing shows, they don't. How do they get on a radar of someone like a Spida?
Oh man, one thing I would tell people is understanding that you have to have a fan base. This rapping and music in general, it's a business. It's not just about talent. Even though talented artists do catch breaks sometimes and they end up getting into great situations. It's not like you can't. I don't want to discredit talent, but I do want to make sure you understand that it's a business. And a lot of talented artists end up getting in bad contracts, so just understand that it's a business from the start. It's always about how many people that you can get to like you versus not. I would say, think about that. Just don't get into like the whole game where like, I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's a thing that rappers get into this competition on who's the best and who's not, what is accepted, what is good and what is bad. Don't allow that to judge you or stop you from being creative. Like if you sound a certain type of way, just keep doing it because eventually it's going to get to a point where it's great. And like, I wasn't great when I started rapping. I was the worst guy in my group and I was super determined. And most of the guys that I did music with don't even do music anymore. And I'm the only one that's kind of like in this industry that did it. If I can start off like that, then you can also be that person. So I always tell rappers that, man.
Awesome. That's perfect. Where can people go online to find stuff you're doing and to follow you? Where do you want to send folks?
My Instagram is the best place. Spida Crazy 8. That's SPIDA Crazy and the number 8. You can also find me on Facebook. That's where I do a lot of my trolling. It's my troll account. And it's SPIDA and Verse. And yes, I was the first Spida Verse. I don't know why they took my stuff. They probably saw my account and it was like, man, we got to take this. But it ran, and then they made the burger at the Whopper, at Burger King, and I got so many people sending me pictures of that. Like, hey, Spider, they got your burger here at Burger King. And so,
Is that a burger there?
yes, they had like a red one, and it was a Spida Verse burger.
What?
It was crazy. Like so, like forever now, like the Spida Verse, just like the exit sign. Every time you see that movie, you're gonna think it's Spider 2. And you know, my Spider-Man is my favorite.
Is that kind of where the name came from?
Yes, well, yeah, Spider. Yeah, like Spider-Man was my favorite, like, Marvel character. And so like I was looking for things when I was in school to kind of attach myself to, because I saw other people doing things back when I was in high school. Yeah, let's take you back a little bit. Yeah, we was really into cartoon characters, the SpongeBob's, yeah. So I was like, I don't want to do SpongeBob, just do Spider-Man.
Yeah,
and
way better.
And it went over really well. Everybody called me Spider. I was playing basketball. I was jumping out the gym. You know, it's worked out really.
Are you
good.
still balling at all?
I try to. I used to go every morning. I started, and everybody started working out too. You know, I don't know if you saw that, but we was working out for like 3 weeks straight every day. And then I stopped for a minute. And I play ball, and I get so locked in on 2K that like, you know, everything else stopped mattering.
Dude, let's talk on that before we jump out of here. Earlier, before we started this podcast, we were talking about the fact that you're playing 2K and how it kind of brings you, kind of almost like distracts you. I've always, you know, my brain's crazy, goes all over the place. I'm not in control of it sometimes.
Right.
And you got to wrangle it in. And one of the things that I used to do, I play like Call of Duty and NBA 2K myself because it kept me busy, but I didn't feel like I was managing something. I didn't feel like I had to put anything together. And whenever you manage multiple things, it felt like it was kind of, sometimes you got to know how to turn off, and your mind keeps going and you want to keep doing something, but you kind of want to turn off. Is that kind of what you were seeing with it, or what you kind of do with it?
Well, yeah. And
other than 2K is awesome.
2K is the greatest game ever made, and it's a lot of strategy. I'm very competitive. Like, it's just a secret thing that like nobody truly knows. Like, I want to beat you at everything, and I don't want to just beat you. I want to beat you bad. I want to talk to you a certain type of way after I do it. Like, it's bad on there. Like, if I have a teammate that sucks, like,
I want to talk to you a certain way after I do it,
bro. Because I was always very competitive, but when I moved to Northwest Arkansas, it turned up a notch, because I was used to being very like street with things. Like, like I was just sandlot. You know, we played on concrete with the double rims. I come here, we're playing in gyms with AC, and these guys are getting trained by like people who train the Razorbacks. You know, so like they're doing stuff that I didn't know people can do. You know, and I always just felt like I wanted to be as good at if I'm playing. So basketball was a really big thing for me back in the day. I actually tried out for a college team and made it and everything.
Oh, wow. Nice.
2K replaced basketball for me, and because I'm short. I couldn't dunk on nobody, and people just blocked my shot if I was, but I was good. But 2K put me in this reality world that I don't have to be short. I can be tall as I want to, and I can make as many shots as my training allows me to do. And so I get to be that guy on that game. And that's what it replaced. And it's been really great.
Awesome. Well, dude, thanks for coming on and chatting. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while. And I think, here in a year, come back on and there's no telling what we're going to be talking about.
We're going to be doing this podcast on like a big concert stage, and it's going to be like 50,000 people out there, and we just be talking, man.
I'm down. I hope so.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Ida here on the Beats by Travis podcast. Thank you guys for listening. Be sure to go to bandzoogle.com to type in the promo code BeatsByTravis15 to save yourself 15% off your website purchase. And follow the podcast on all social media at Beats by Travis Podcast. And you can follow me personally on Instagram at Beats by Travis. And thank you guys for listening. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and tell your friends. We'll see you next time.